Left of the box. Let's get on to a little bit of a fun story. Ridiculous story. Ridiculous story. Um, but fun. And I say it's ridiculous. Like when I first saw this, because you know, Twitter the way it is, you can never take anything at face value anymore. And I'm constantly trying to double check my sources. If it's from an account I'm not familiar with, I do some research into it because you never know. Things are photoshopped. You never know what AI is generating. You never know. And so when I saw this, I'm like, this isn't real. This is not real. I'm cynical about corporations and society and stuff. This is not real. You're not prepared for what I'm about to show you. Loblaws has been in the news recently. And under the Loblaws umbrella is Shoppers Drug Mart. They're owned by the Westons, the same corporation owners type thing. And Loblaws is currently undergoing a boycott because they have, ridiculously jacked up the prices of groceries, making, eating unaffordable for some people. Well, Shoppers is also in that category, and there's been scandals with them recently because Doug Ford had favored them during the pandemic and giving them priority contracts when it came to vaccines and testing and all that sort of stuff during COVID. Well, this is from Shoppers. Meet the hiring team about the job, and this is a posting from Shoppers Drug Mart. Company description. Shoppers Drug Mart is a trusted and respected Canadian pharmacy and has been serving the healthcare needs of Canadians for 50 years with over 1,300 stores nationwide. Shoppers Drug Mart is an integral blah, 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 blah. Role description for this posting. I'm saying posting. You'll understand why in a moment. Role description for this posting. This is a part-time on-site volunteer role at Shoppers Drug Mart in Toronto, Ontario. As a volunteer, you will be responsible for assisting with various tasks and providing support to the staff. This may include helping customers find products, restocking shelves, organizing inventory, and maintaining a clean and organized store environment. Your role as a volunteer is crucial in ensuring that our customers have a positive and seamless shopping experience. Qualifications for this volunteer role. Excellent customer service and interpersonal skills, ability to work well in a team environment, strong attention to detail and organizational skills, ability to multitask and prioritize tasks effectively, good communication skills. Previous retailer customer service experience is an asset. Ability to work. Don't you mean volunteer? Ability to volunteer, flexible hours, including evenings and weekends. I did not know this Twitter account, so I'm thinking this is satire. This must be. Most Shopper Drug Marts are independently owned, but are all under the Loblaws umbrella. As such, it should come as no surprise that this Loblaw shopper's job listing does not pay. They want volunteers to stock shelves clean and be available nights and weekends. This had to be a joke, right? But the thing is that I referenced Sherry even earlier in this stream. I trust her account. Breaking. Now the Westons won't even be paying part-time staff volunteer jobs in Shoppers Drug Mart. And she has the same. And I'm like, no, this can't be real. It can't. No. Blog TO. Toronto Shoppers Drug Mart ad for unpaid volunteer position has people baffled. This is a real posting. It took me 3 layers and like 4 different news outlets to report on this before I finally accepted this was real. Because, you've seen it usually on the right where there's like this outlandish story that starts on Twitter and like Fox Media and Rebel News and all these places will just pick it up just because. And then it turns out that the source of it on Twitter was wrong. Only this is real. This is real. A new job posting for a role at Toronto Shoppers Drug Mart location is causing a stir this week due to the fact that it is boldly seeks a worker to perform what many feel should be paid duties, but for free. Huh? Really? Really? The part-time volunteer position, which popped up on LinkedIn on Wednesday, states that the chosen candidate, because I'm sure people are just lining up for this, would be responsible for assisting with various tasks and providing support to the staff, which could consist of tasks such as helping customers find products, restocking, and we went over that in the thing, because it's not bad enough that customers now have to do their own work of checking themselves out of the store. Instead of going through a cashier and having a cashier be paid to do a job, it's now up to customers to do the checkout, bag their own stuff, put in work. But now they just want people to do everything else there for free. Though the listing has been up for less than a day at the time of publication, it has already been marked as no longer accepting applications. Oh, was that because it was like flooded with people eager for this position? Is that it? They were just so overwhelmed with applicants? Is that what happened? Huh? They just like, wow, we didn't expect to get like 500 applications in just a day. Just so many to choose from. This is like, we almost need to have somebody volunteer to go through all of these applications just to find one that is, the best possible volunteer for this job. Those who have come across the ad are confused and outraged, wondering if it's even legal to ask someone to work such a job for free. It's not. Unbelievable, incredibly wealthy corporation with a monopoly in Canada that saw records profits this year thinks they're also deserve volunteer labor, one person wrote while sharing the post on Facebook. Well, they do think they deserve volunteer labor, hence people, doing their self-checkouts and bagging their own stuff. Are corporations not greedy enough already? Now Shoppers Drug Mart is asking for volunteers and expecting people to work in the stores for free? Another asked. I think it speaks for, okay, we don't need to go over random people's comments on this. But the owner who posted the position for his downtown pharmacy tells BlogTO that he did so in error and that he certainly never meant to cause any harm or drum up so much outrage. No longer accepting applications. That post was a mistake as we don't hire volunteers at Shoppers Drug Mart. Oops. We don't do that. No, I found out it's illegal. So we don't hire volunteers. All my employees are getting paid. If you have to then backtrack and say, yeah, I'm paying people to do jobs. All of them. In fact, I'm paying all of them to do a job. And a good rate. So not only are they getting paid, but it's at a good rate. Pharmacist's email said he further explained that he had been considering a way to address the many inquiries he receives from people looking to gain invaluable experience on a volunteer basis. Really? Really? Like, I know the whole phrase, it's difficult to get a job when they ask for experience because how are you supposed to get experience until you get a job? I get that. I don't think people are going up to Shoppers Drug Mart saying, hey, can you sign me up as a volunteer so I can get some experience in retail? No. 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 And then to play it off, it's like, I'm just trying to be helpful by giving somebody an unpaid position. We'll get into a little bit of a news clip too. I receive a lot of emails and LinkedIn messaging asking for volunteer opportunities, but I don't respond. However, I saw that volunteer is an option on LinkedIn when you post for a job. I just wanted to try to see if I can help anyone gain Canadian experience, as other kinds of jobs usually do, knowing that I have full staff now, he says. I then received a note that we do not do volunteering, and I quickly closed the position. However, I couldn't delete the post. Loblaws company confirmed the blog TO that the opening was listed in error and was closed almost immediately after it was posted. Shoppers Drug Mart doesn't have volunteers in their stores, and it's against company policy. Ha ha, we got caught, huh? A spokesperson said. It is really just them testing the water to see what they can get away with, and then using like vulnerable newcomers as an excuse. Because that's what the video we're about to watch kind of gets into.
A Shoppers Drug Mart pharmacy in downtown Toronto is facing backlash over an online job posting this week seeking a volunteer to work in the store. A parent company, Loblaws, says the listing was an error. Sarah McMillan joins me now with more on how the listing got posted in the first place, and this has not surprisingly caused some heated reaction. Sarah, what exactly was the job posting advertising?
Well, Kelda, this posting went up earlier this week on LinkedIn, and it was posted by the pharmacy owner at the Shoppers Drug Mart at King and Peter Streets in downtown Toronto, and it very clearly advertised the role as a...
You know, I'm just thinking, this is CBC. They really should be, going for the bias of the corporation here. I'm just saying, I'm surprised they're not like, they were really sincerely trying to help people out. Like, I don't understand what the backlash was. It's just an innocent corporation, trying to give back to the community. What's the big deal?
A volunteer position in the store with tasks including assisting customers, organizing inventory, and restocking shelves. Now, the listing was taken down yesterday morning, but it was already...
Okay, if we go back to the listing for a second here. Like, this is the thing that gets me, because they're using the excuse of, we want people to help people get experience, getting a job by doing this volunteer thing. But then in the qualifications, it says previous retail or customer service experience is an asset. It's kind of contradicting yourself there. Just like they're really just showing their ass here.
Making the rounds online. I spoke with John Gunn, who's been a customer at this Shoppers location for more than a decade.
My first reaction was this has to be a joke or some kind of misunderstanding.
What I want to know is, how do I get to be this person? Like, who is this guy? Just some random customer? Like, how do you become that random person in a news video where they're just asking your opinion, even though you're basically a nobody? How do I get onto these news networks as one of these people? Because I wouldn't try to stir up trouble.
But the second thing that went through my mind was that this is a for-profit company, and a volunteer position for what would otherwise be a paid position I found outrageous.
And Sarah, what has Shoppers said about all this?
Well, a spokesperson for parent company Loblaw told me in a statement that the job posting was an error and that it does not have volunteers working in stores. Now, he also phoned the pharmacy and spoke with the owner who posted the job. He declined to do an interview, but he told me he realizes now that it was a mistake to post this job, but says his intentions were good. He says he was trying to help people looking for Canadian work experience, saying he often gets messages from people seeking opportunities even if they're unpaid. Now, I was
I didn't know they were selling bullshit at Shoppers these days.
Curious about that, so I reached out to the Toronto Region Immigrant Employment Council. It surveyed newcomers 2 years ago and found that more than half cited a lack of Canadian work experience as a major barrier to getting a job. So I asked CEO Gillian Mason about...
You see, the problem there isn't the lack of Canadian experience. The problem is the lack of Canadian employers taking newcomers seriously. instead of looking at them as a chore or a charity case, or that they're unqualified because maybe their English isn't perfect. And I have yet to meet any Canadian whose English is perfect all of the time anyway. Like, this is a problem with discrimination, racism. It's not a problem with newcomers not having Canadian experience, because any job you go into, there's going to be on the job training. Doesn't matter what the job is. And so it's a matter of, can you look at this person and think, yeah, they're polite, they come across as competent, they're nice, they seem like they're going to be a hard worker, blah, 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 blah. Well, we can just teach them how to use the point of sales machine. We can just teach them what our systems are here. That's not a big deal, because guess what? You'd have to do that anyway with anyone who gets into that position. So this isn't the problem CBC is making it sound like it is.
Her reaction to the shopper story.
And so the fact that this action was taken was probably a reaction to what our studies show, which is that Canadian experience is a barrier. However, that barrier needs to be overcome by employers increasing their capacity to actually hire and retain and advance immigrants.
Now, Ontario did actually recently pass legislation banning employers from requiring Canadian work experience in job postings, and Mason says it is a big and important step.
And Sarah, as we mentioned, this has caused a lot of reaction, prompted a social media flurry this week. What else can you tell us about this public reaction?
Yeah, so even though the listing has been taken down, Shoppers has certainly been fielding criticism on social media this week, even prompting some customers to say they'll take their business elsewhere. Now, John Gunn, the customer we heard from before, says this now deleted job posting from Shoppers feels to him kind of like a continuation of a trend of customers being asked to do more and more free labor for companies.
From bringing your own bags to packing your bags to using self-checkout, and now having the nerve to ask customers to volunteer literally.
Yeah, go up to a store employee. Hey, do you have any more of these things that are on sale in the back? Do you have them? And then the store employee looking at you like, go check. Like, seriously, it's not my job to go check. You go in the back room and you look through the inventory and you check if you want it so much.
Stacking the shelves. And I thought there had to be a line drawn somewhere.
Now, Gunn says that he is drawing that line by switching to a different pharmacy.
All right, thank you so much for this, Sarah. CBC.
Wow. Corporations will do whatever they can to get away with whatever they can. Like, they will push it so far as they possibly can. It doesn't surprise me that more and more they're expecting us to do more of the work, charge groceries more. Like, it's less value for the dollar every single day.